mainstream media, which we like, because we're always looking for the truth as well on this show. And you stated that it really doesn't matter about whether we have more nukes or less nukes. And both presidents feel that way as well in Russia and America, right?
Well, I would assume so, since both of them know the fact that that nuclear warheads are obsolete. And furthermore, the missiles that carry them are obsolete.
Now, a lot of people are...
Why wouldn't you, if a weapon system is obsolete and it's costing you billions of dollars a year to maintain, why not? Why not negotiate them? And why not stage the negotiations to where you both are looking like heroes in doing this? President Obama was given the Nobel Peace Prize last year for what he was going to do.
Yes.
And this makes him look like a Nobel. Defense Secretary William Cohen gave us the first big break in April of 1997 when he was addressing a conference on terrorism, and the subtitle was Terrorism, Weapons of Mass Destruction, and U.S. Strategy at the San Nun Policy Forum, April 28th. At the University of Georgia. And it was a rather long and rambling speech, and we have that entire speech on our website. But here's what he said about electromagnetic weapon systems. Listen, he's talking about enemy scientists. Yeah. He said other enemy scientists are engaging in an echo type of terrorism whereby they can alter the climate, set off earthquakes and volcanoes remotely through the use of electromagnetic waves.
He must have been reprimanded after saying that publicly. Huh?
I would suspect he was. Now, this just opened my eyes.
Yeah.
And I said, electromagnetic waves? And the first thing I discovered was a company called Earth Pulse Systems, and their scientists are very adamantly opposed to America's electromagnetic system called HAARP, H-A-A-R-P. And that could do all this. This HAARP system can alter the climate, can set off earthquakes and volcanoes remotely through the use of electromagnetic waves. But then I discovered, in 1999, the Russian system called scalar electromagnetic waves, S-C-A-L-A-R, and it is much more powerful than the American.
Is that right?
Yeah, and it's got applications across the board. And then I discovered that the United Nations in the late 1970s passed a series of treaties which forbid countries from using weather modification, weather-altering technologies as weapons against other countries.
So they wouldn't have to make a statement like that if these weapons didn't exist, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's logical.
Both, electromagnetic weapons render missiles obsolete, and they because no missile airplane can penetrate to the target, and they render nuclear warheads obsolete in two ways. Number one, they can deliver at the speed of light an explosion anywhere in the world of any nuclear, it will mimic a nuclear explosion.
Wow.
But they can deliver it at any size they wanted to, and it travels at the speed of light. So it's virtually impossible to protect against. Secondly, scalar weapons, the Russian scalar, can neutralize any weapons, any warhead on Earth. Scalar waves nuclear devices.
So basically, nukes nowadays, which people still make movies about them being the greatest terror on Earth. The president talked about it this week, saying the greatest terror is a nuke being in a terrorist's hand.
And we're going. And Obama is going to hold a nuclear terror summit in Washington next week, where he's going to beat this drum for all it's worth. That the greatest threat we have is terrorism using nuclear weapons.
Yeah. Which is, as you're pointing out now, isn't quite the truth.
So no, it's absolutely not the truth.
In fact, David, when we were speaking before, you said that you came across a very interesting statement by Ahmadinejad, the president of Iran.
Yeah, Iran in 2008. I forget the month. Maybe I think it was in April. I think of 2008. Ahmadinejad was being interviewed, about his country's supposed, drive to develop nuclear weapons of their own, and he said, really sarcastically, at least that's the way it appears in print when you read it. Mm-hmm. He said, "Why?" He said, "We're not trying to build a nuclear weapons warhead program. Why should we?" He said, "After all, nuclear weapons are so 20th century." Mm. All right. Now, of course, he was, in 2008, we are now in the 21st century. And so, the only thing he could be saying is, nuclear weapons had their place in the 20th century, but we're in the 21st.